You're good, Mayor. You can start.
All right. So again, good morning. We will call the board meeting of the Sewage and Water Board to order. Ms. Yolanda.
Mayor Cantrell.
Present.
Councilmember King. Director Barnes.
Present.
Director Duplessis. Director Markowitz. Director Guzman.
Here.
Director Pacheco.
Here.
Director Sloss.
Here.
Director Howard. Director Scholas.
Here.
Mayor, we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. And so at this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of our May 17, 2023 meeting of the board.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Sloss, seconded by Director Barnes. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I was saying I wasn't present.
Thank you. One abstention, and ayes have it.
Yes.
Minutes approved. That's my first abstention. Caught me by surprise. Thank you so much, Dr. Scholas. Always so thorough. Ms. Yolanda.
And now we're ready for our Executive Director's report. Gassan?
Very good.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and Board of Directors. Good to be here this morning. Happy summer. And with summer comes the hurricane season, so I just want to assure you that we are keenly aware of that, and we are watching the weather. Currently, there's a tropical storm, Brett, that looks like it's going to dissipate once it hits the Caribbean, but we'll continue to watch every storm and every development. Part of our preparedness for the season is we have a very good communication and coordination with key partners, whether it's NOSEP. I know Ron and his team meet with the Entergy team to make sure we're in sync in terms of our needs and anything that happens during a storm, that we're in constant communication, and we have key people talking to each other proactively and managing anything that may happen. Obviously, the Levee Protection Authority and the Corps of Engineers are among the partners that we work with very closely to make sure that everybody's playing their role and playing their role effectively. So I have a lot of things to update you on. I would say progress continues to be made, and we can jump right into it. You know, talking about hurricane season, just a quick update on the pumping and power. We currently have 93 of the 99 drainage pumps that are available. T5 and T6 are in working order and ready to be used. We're diligently working on T4, and it is to be back in service. A lot of moving parts with it, but it's slated to be back by the end of the month. In terms of testing, there's a lot of parts that are in place, but we just have to go through the testing and commissioning of those parts. So mid-July is when we're confidently saying that it will return. But we currently, as you look at the chart on the right, we have sufficient power to match peak demands or needs. And you can see the other equipment, the backup equipment that we have in terms of frequency changers, the EMDs. The frequency changers that we talk about here are we've had those, they're smaller size ones, and they're in multiple locations, and we haven't used them very effectively in the past just because of age and maintenance and what have you, but we've made an exerted effort as of late to bring those back to a working order, and Ron and his team have been utilizing those when we can in lieu of Turbine 5. It's a much better use of our power because we get it from Entergy. Basically, it's the same concept we're doing with the substation. We're just doing it on a smaller level, and it's been working very well, more effective and more reliable. So it's a good model to minimize the use of Turbine 5, as you know, because of the issues that are associated with that. So we think we have a very good plan, especially during dry weather days like today. We're likely using frequency changes than Turbine 5.
And it's important just to remember, people forget. You know, you go so far and you, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
This was always a part of the plan,
Yeah.
meaning for us to get our hands around the challenges that we were having with our utility across the board regarding power and the redundancy of power. So the frequency changes was actually one of the first steps that we took, as a board to putting resources where they need, and also tied to the fair share agreement.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just trying to get people, keep them focused on and knowing how we do what we say. And we're continuing to do that. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yep. Yeah, we're based on that slide. It's an assurance that we are in a good place, but we're going to be in a better place within, for the 2025 hurricane season. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, an update about the power complex. I'm dying to get you out there to witness the progress, and maybe we should hold a meeting at the Curtin Water Plant, so we can tie it with a visit. I mean, it's so visible, it's exciting. We've been having a lot of groups, and we talk about that, visiting the site, and just it's an awesome progress that we're making. So what you're looking at is the Entergy's substation, making significant progress, and it's on track and on budget. And then as far as our piece or our components, they're on track as well, moving forward, making adjustments here and there. Pile driving is probably the most critical. If you recall, we talked about where we have the biggest chance for changes and change orders and what have you. So that phase is almost over and with limited or minimal adjustments. So it's, the rest should be more straightforward and open. So again, we've adjusted, and we'll explain how relative to responding to the capital outlay funding and how we're moving forward. So as you know, this is a picture of the actual fixed switch changers. I think they're somewhere in Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, I'm sorry?
Those things are Siemens?
Yes. Yeah. So obviously, if this is a picture is worth 1,000 words. I mean, they're being made, they're being prepared to be stored before they're shipped here, because we need to be ready for them once they're delivered, so where they're gonna actually be positioned and be connected. So, yeah, I mean, awesome place to be in terms of, the equipment are here in terms of, being manufactured.
By train or by?
How they're delivered? Probably by truck.
By truck.
Yes. Slow bed. That'll be a great day when they start being delivered and being placed on top of the pads and what have you. So time, can't tell you exactly the time, but we're on track, so we're in good place.
So,
Yes, sir.
how many is that? It looks like it goes on forever.
That's 3.
That's okay.
So they come in modules. So I think you're looking at, you can see a break in between 2 modules, sort of like where the little yellow truck stand is. So
Those things are big.
yes, sir.
A bit, yeah. And as you know, there's 3 of them that we ordered being manufactured, and then we'll talk about the delivery and the usage in just one more slide. So we asked for an expected $39 million from capital outlay. As you all know, we didn't get that. We got 15, and because of that, obviously we're extremely thankful for the money. It's obviously better than not getting anything. We're hopeful that the remaining money will come in subsequent years, hopefully the year following. And we're definitely not allowing any of this to derail the project. It's the most critical project, as you know, and it's gonna bring reliability, durability, efficiency. We're gonna enjoy savings associated with the power station, obviously. So we're staying the course with some adjustments. So this is a picture of the actual, I guess call them the vertical members that will hold the utility rack to carry the power from the substation and the turbines to a central control for the power to be distributed as needed. So again, exciting progress, and like I said, those are probably the most critical portion of the project in terms of exposure or risk associated with finding the right places for those piles. And again, Ron and his team have done tremendous job responding and improvising to make things happen and continue to move forward. So this is the first time we actually show a diagram of the entire complex. To the right is where the substation is going. And the reason we wanted to show you that, this kind of will clearly demonstrate what we're actually going to do with the 15 million. So basically, the turbine 7 will be in place. Many of the components will be in place. It's the connection of the two of the three frequency changers will may be delivered and stored on site and protected, but they will not be used because the connecting those two with the rest of the substation, with the turbine 7 will not be able to happen. And because of that, the power, I keep saying the power state, the actual substation has the capacity for producing over 60 megawatts. Each of the frequency changers has roughly 20 megawatt of ability to kind of basically funnel the power through. So we'll be limited to that. So we can only use 20 of the 60 because we only have one. So it's better than not having anything, obviously. So, but this puts us in a place where we can rely on the substation rather than the turbines. We'll have ability to use a T7. So we'll be in much better shape. Not the optimum place we want it to be, but this is a good place for hurricane season of 2025. So.
Right, and it's a game changer. This is huge, not just for the city of New Orleans, but where New Orleans goes, the state of Louisiana goes. And even just saying we were thankful for the 15, this is a state utility managed locally, and where we've gotten it is just transformative. And just to think where we could be with the full 39 complement, I don't want to lose sight on the fact that we do need, and we did need, in asking for the 39, we needed the 39. We've gotten this utility in a shape to where we're ready to receive the 39 to make the necessary improvements that we know need to happen to reach the level of redundancy to ensure that our substation is at optimal capacity. But what we've done is that we've been able to, and thank you to the leadership, we've been able to narrow it down, drill back just a little bit because the resources or the full complement wasn't available or made available to the city of New Orleans, to the Sewage and Water Board. Like, that's a fact.
Right.
I don't want to overlook it because sometimes, it gets clouded over as if we didn't need it in the first place. Yes, we do, but we're doing transformational things for our utility, which will determine where this city, and also where the state will be decades from now. That's the level of investment that this city and this utility is making. We should be proud about that.
Yep. No, very well said, Mayor. We cannot abandon the
No.
complete project, and that's what good engineers do. They adapt and they improvise and make things work with best funding that we have. So again, very proud of the progress and what things are looking like. And again, we're going to continue our partnership with our folks at the state level to ensure future funding.
And thank you to our local delegation.
Absolutely. Many thanks for them.
What we've done with what we have should instill confidence in the state to go ahead and advance the necessary funding for the rest of it.
Exactly.
I'm hoping it will.
Absolutely. Just wanted to share one of our many projects. I find that very exciting for many reasons. This is a replacement. We're going to call it, quote unquote, replacement of a 42-inch water main that runs down Claiborne. It's a very visible project. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen it. And what you see above ground is the pipe that will be basically being inserted in the cavity that the other pipe basically provides. So it's a pipe within a pipe, and it's a structural pipe. It's about, 4+ inches wall thickness, so it's very durable pipe. The joints are seamless, so they weld or fuse the pipes together above ground, and it becomes one contiguous pipe, which improves the hydraulics of it. So even though it's a little smaller than the other pipe, it would provide the same amount of capacity because of the smoothness of the, yeah.
And if you've traveled Tulane, I know South Claiborne over the past week plus, you've seen the
big
huge
pipe.
pipe above ground.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
again just a testament to the level of infrastructure work and improvements that we're doing in the city of New Orleans. We cannot dumb it down.
Right. And the one thing that I want to notice, share with you is it's a creative way of using technology. This is, I think it says it somewhere where it's the longest length of pipe that's being inserted or pulled in Louisiana. So it's quite an accomplishment, but it's also very less destructive and less costly because you don't have to excavate and then worry about replacing pavement because of the trenching. So this basically limited pits allowing us to enter and exit the pipe, and you can see it's a fairly lengthy distance. So
And you
significant
have
savings.
there first in Louisiana, but I would just have to say the city of New Orleans is doing the most infrastructure work in the United States of America, especially as it relates to our utility. We need to own the position that we're in this city.
This is definitely puts infrastructure projects on
Big deal.
put us on the map in many ways, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we're putting a video together, and I'm sure we'll submit something to engineering publications to celebrate this project, and once it's all in and successful. Smart metering update. We're moving forward. A lot of work behind the scenes. We continue to install the common components. 9 out of the 12 base stations are complete. The other 3 are very imminent. We're working on some minor details. Whether it's soil testing, whether it's just some tweaks before we finish the 12, and obviously that's a major milestone in terms of that project's progress. Smartly and obviously efficiently, anytime we replace meters, our meter shops, part of the routine daily work, we're installing the smart meter ready. So we're putting the smart meters in the ground minus the piece that makes them smart. So what you're looking at, a newer meter that you just have to add another contraption to it and make it a smart meter, meaning the actual transmission of the reads. So that means we are minimizing the work once we dispatch our contractor crews. All they have to do is add a piece to that meter, and voila, it's a smart ready. It's a smart meter, and will allow the customer to enjoy all the smart meter related features. One key component that has to be done flawlessly is the integration of all the IT and all the softwares. 2 of those are complete. We're confident that the rest will be obviously complete equally successfully, so we're focusing on those. Very exciting that we actually got $5 million in SRF, or State Revolving Fund loan, to allow us to move that project forward. As you know, we shared with you last month that there's an added cost to the project because of the lead and copper rule regulations, requiring us to provide protection to our consumers by way of a pitcher. So that will help add money to the pool that allows us to do that work as soon as we start swapping meters. Wanted to share with you how successful and effective the fair share that started a couple of years ago. I mean, the mayor had a vision, and her philosophy is that we serve not only the residents and the businesses of the city, but we also serve over 17 million visitors every year. And the money has been coming steadily, and as you can see on the top, we have about $40 million in that fund, allowing us to do a lot of projects that otherwise would not be done. Very critical project, and I'll share a couple of those. So we're spending the money where we feel we need to. We're saving some of it for the bigger expenditures, like maybe augmenting some of the costs associated with the power station, the smart meter program, because not all the funding for smart meter, for example, is in hand. So we're saving up that money to spend it when we need to make sure the project gets completed. So this is a list of some of the project that the IMF has been funding, and we recently requested money to be spent on the surface cuts, and I'll share more information about that. So just wanted to share, we haven't really talked about the fair share a lot in terms of numbers, and we wanted to share that with you. So one of our major priority this year, I think it's the year of the pavement repairs or surface cuts. We've been focusing and making significant progress in that regard, focusing on reducing the backlog that has existed for years. And with partnership with the city and Department of Public Works, with them spending the $8.3 million, they're moving forward with their piece. We're moving forward with ours. And I know I've explained this to you before. We've beefed up our own crews. We bought them new equipment to make them more effective and more efficient. But we also brought 2 contractors on board to help us with reducing the backlog. And it's been so successful that we've actually used up all the money that had been budgeted for those 2 contracts, and that's why we went to the IAB then, and we're using $4 million from the fair share to allow us to continue the momentum, same rate, and with the hopes that we will bring that backlog down to maybe anywhere between 600 and 1,000 locations. And obviously, we're not going to abandon that project. We're going to continue that same push with new monies for 2024. Again, we think it's one of the most visible, important projects for the city, and the numbers speak for themselves. We're definitely doing significantly more than we have done in the past.
So we're at 3,000 today.
We started with 3,000. It's significantly less than that, but our goal is to bring it down to starting 2025 with much more reduced, much more manageable. And I'm confident that 2025 will see the end of the backlog.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
The goal, literally, the goal is 2025. I have 936 days left in my term. So January 2026, I'm out of here. So the goal is that 25 year, when we start 2025, that's where we want to be. But also, we'll be hosting Super Bowl February 2025. So that's kind of like a benchmark in my head about a lot of these things.
Absolutely. Big driver, making the city more ready for that huge event. This was an attempt. I don't think it's very effective, but enough to show you all the work that is happening, whether, under our work orders or the DPWs. We're going to clean that up more, and we're going to make it more visible for the public so they can access it on our website just to see the progress. So this was a couple days ago, kind of, started with that, and just wanted to give you a picture of how spread the work, and and we're touching as much of it as possible. So again, we promise you a much cleaner, more demonstrative visual next time. One of the other projects that is ongoing is the Sycamore Filter Gallery. We have 2 major ones at the plant, and this is a key one that help us produce the 150 million gallons a day for our customers. So this work is progressing. Basically, this is the filtration process of the water. We've done about 13 of the 18, and the scope of work is pretty involved. And again, if the IMF or the fair share money didn't exist, this project would just sit there unfunded and repaired and unoperational. So this is just couple of quick pictures. This is the bottom of the filtration where we use these tubes to backwash, to push water against the media to wash it on regular basis to make sure it continues to be effective. The left is the old media. It's gravel, sand, and coal, and it's being removed with a suction tube, and the one on the right is the final product. So obviously more effective. The product is the same in a way, but it just would filter water at a faster rate, so obviously more efficient, and allows us to be more productive with our same footprint. And obviously, we're going to continue focusing on replacing those media. Typically, they serve about 10 years. This is well over 15, maybe closer to 20 years old, so it's way overdue. We did some of the structural steel underneath the gallery. It was a very tough decision whether to replace the one on the left or not. That's it's a kind of flat joke, but I use it because it's demonstrate what we're living with every day, and how critical and fragile the system is, and every bit of money that we get, we're spending responsibly, and obviously to make our system more reliable. So again, progress is being made.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Don't get
Yeah,
me
I
going.
mean, when we take people down underneath, they are just shocked of how fragile, and I mean fragile, the system looks.
And these investments it's worth just saying, we're doing it in other cities around the country. Wish that they were where we are. This is huge for the city of New Orleans.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
We're building the system for the next 50 years.
Yes, we are.
Equally important, obviously, the wastewater treatment. We were successful in getting approval for $39 million for improvements in both the east and the west wastewater treatment plants. So that's moving forward with design. So again, exciting and much needed work, allowing us to obviously treat water, make it safe before we put it back into our river. So
The last since 1972.
Yeah.
That's the year I was born.
Wow.
I'm 51. Unprecedented what we're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, one thing we're gaining is obviously better partnerships with key funders such as the state. They're trusting how we're using the money, and that actually we have needs, and obviously we're supporting with our better financial position, allowing us to get these loans more comfortably. So, in terms of meter reads, we're staying the course, reading every other month. Improving the percentages of reads. We're well over 95%. It fluctuates a little bit, so we weren't as high as 97. We're obviously getting fewer bill disputes because the reads are more consistent and more solid. We're working very closely with City Council and trying to comply with the ordinance as it's written. Many of the components we've been complying since day one. The one, I would say, for lack of a better term, challenging one to implement is the door hanger ordinance, which we are going to commence very shortly. We did make one attempt to see if we can find an alternative to hanging the door hangers, but there's a strong belief by the City Council folks that we want to see that implemented and proven ineffective or costly or has unintended
Or
consequences.
deathly in terms of heat advisories and anyway.
So we're going to try phase it in the best we can. Renee and I working on a plan. We're confident that eventually we'll find a better solution. But because we are confident with parts of what we have proposed as an alternative. We're gonna stay the course with that simultaneously. So we're gonna invest in newer handhelds, which what our readers use to enter their reads. But we're also going to document that read by taking a picture with a date stamp, allowing us to put that in a database and make it available to our customers should they have any concerns or doubt about the whether we took the reading and what those reads. So that is perfect evidence that we were there, and then we're gonna provide it upon request for now.
Right, and we
would-
stand by the data that's collected.
Yeah.
And also how the data will be used. And building public trust is a priority for our utility for this board, but we will not put anyone in harm to do it.
But to be clear, so we're gonna, we were implementing hangers and we're doing side by side. So I want to make sure we're,
Yes, for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's a good practice to just document the reads. You have it for any, potential dispute. And again, I think if you provide a reasonable offer, we're hoping that it will bring more assurance and more comfort to the authors of the ordinance that maybe they will then consider it as an alternative.
right,
in
I
lieu.
understand that, but
So
we are doing both at the time.
We're doing both. Again, I want to be in compliance.
We're in compliance with the law, so it's good.
Yes, but also want to bring more value than contemplated, to be honest with you, and that's what we do, and we feel that it's a good step
I think it's
regardless.
a great solution.
Yeah. So we're staying the course, and hopefully we'll.
This is all gonna go away once we have smart meter?
Absolutely.
Smart meter changes the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the percentages, those are metrics to meet. The 95% at the 18% fewer bill disputes, is that something that already happened, or is that something that you've set as a goal?
Well, we knew it was going to improve. We didn't have a specific number. Our hope is to read 100% of the monthly reads, which is 50% of the population of meters. So we're getting, obviously, there's 5% that continue to be problematic, and we're not happy with that. We want to get to the 100%.
Okay, so that's current.
That's current.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
progress.
we're accomplishing 95 to 97. We want to get the 100. How reasonable or attainable we will see, but Renee is pushing very hard to get us to that point.
Well, and to get to 95, as with the current capacity, that's pretty high.
It is high, but if you remember, partly is because we split the population in half. So we're focusing with the meter readers that we have on reading half every other month, and versus it was fluctuating between 40 to 60 to 80 down to 40. We just couldn't sustain
Right.
a decent level.
But what I'm trying to highlight is if you say 95, given our current capacity and or woman power, it's a pretty high number. And
Yes.
you've strategized to be able to meet a high percentage.
Absolutely.
95 today.
That-
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, 95 is not good enough. We want to be higher. And yes.
But it's a testament to
Strategy.
Director Guzman's point, not only to the strategy, but to the men and women who are out there doing the work.
Right. And I think I feel compelled to share the statistics relative to our meter reading, the demographics, the predominantly women.
Mhm.
So I want to say more than 80% of our meter readers are women.
Yeah.
So very, very tough job. And I challenge any of us to go for a day, on a day like today, and do meter
Yeah, get the
readers.
press out there, have them reading meters. I
Yeah.
understand.
So obviously, the 18% fewer, we want that number to grow to much more, so we have less disputes, and we hope that we were going to get there because of the solid reads that we're producing. So, yeah. Any other questions on that? Very happy to share with you our fair share, job share that we did on June 9th. It was an awesome event, very, very well attended. 900 folks showed up seeking a job. And whoever says people are not looking for work and not interested in work, well, the statistics show them, prove them wrong. couple key things that, the team, our HR team did, and kudos to all of them for putting on this awesome event, is that this was a one-stop shop. So you show up looking for work, you learn about the opportunities for you, and then they direct you to a room where you can have an interview on the spot, you can get drug tested on the spot, and a lot of things that you can leave with an actual job if you want to. And the numbers again speak for themselves. There's a lot of obviously in queue, but to have 180 applications on site, that's efficient. That's basically meeting people where they are and taking the barriers out of their way to get a job practically on the spot. So very, very awesome. Beyond the job seeking, there was a lot of connections made, and one of the connections that Director Barnes facilitated is she introduced the Coastal Communities Consulting. They attended and they just were walking around and looking for opportunities, and then let Director Barnes speak to it. But just an example of taking opportunity of one event and do more with it. So with that.
So yeah, I attended and I was just really impressed. I've been in my work to a lot of job fairs and it's very mixed. Some of them are really awful, some of them are good. I think this one was great because, for one thing, people just kept coming. Like it was on the second floor at the convention center, and I just sort of watched people just coming up the escalator, and they just continued to arrive. I probably was there for a couple of hours, throughout the course, which I thought was amazing. It was very generous in that there were other organizations represented there, and so in talking to some of the Sewage and Water Board leadership, obviously, selfishly, we want the people to apply at Sewage and Water Board, but we also want to provide opportunities for people to get jobs. So a lot of our partners were there and a lot of organizations that are important in the city. I came with Coastal Communities Consulting, which is an organization that I'm on the board of, and it actually serves fishermen and coastal communities. And so right now I'm not going to go into the details, but a lot of issues with the fishermen and in their ability to actually make a living. And so some fishermen are looking for jobs, and it's really challenging to sort of figure out, what are their transferable skills. But in talking to people from Sewage and Water Board, and I've already had a follow-up email from Sewage and Water Board, we're looking at trying to create some opportunities. So there's a lot of, I think, real customizing of sort of what's going to work for different populations. So I thought it was just great. And, I don't know is this something that's going to happen annually or more than that, but I would encourage you all to visit the next time and think of organizations that you might want to bring and think of like how to get more people there so that we can up those numbers. The whole thing about getting a job on the spot was just really amazing to me that, you could go through the background check and the drug testing and such right on the spot. So it really, you didn't lose people where they submitted an application, then you had to bring them back for something like that. So a lot of the work is done up front, and that just decreases the chances. And a lot of people, were there with their kids because they don't have childcare. So they brought their kids and they were welcome. And so, I just think it was really sort of done in a way that was very accommodating to the people of New Orleans. So anyway.
Yeah, well, thank you for being there and thanks for sharing. Anecdotally, when you think about somebody coming they find an opportunity and they walk away, chances are immediately reduced of them following up and actually pursuing. But if you're there and everything is afforded to you, your chances of getting that job is improved exponentially. So
And it's a force multiplier.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm very proud of the HR team and their work and their creative work. And yes, we will continue to do this. Some things didn't go as well as we thought in terms of capacity. We're going to increase the space to allow us to do more interviewing more effectively. But there was actually a line. So we want to be a little bit more efficient. And again, I have no doubt the HR team is going to improve on the process and make it even better. So, and then one more quick slide, just again, we continue to showcase the progress being made at the power station. We're inviting people to host meetings at the plant. We have a nice facility there allowing for meetings. And then once they're there, it's a great opportunity for them to walk, a couple minutes and then witness, what the future of the city is going to look like in terms of power generation. So very, very exciting. We appeared as many places as we were asked, with the help of, whether it's Ron, Steve, Grace, many of my team take that load and that responsibility, and they just, attend meetings as much as we can. So that concludes my presentation. I know it was a little bit long, but lots to report, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Ghassan? It's a lot to report, all good news, all progress, and we should all be proud. And I just want to say thank you all for your leadership. Anything for Ghassan? If nothing, Council.
A comment, a couple of comments. I want to just publicly thank Ms. Birch and Mr. Nelson. The response has been great. A lot of people don't mind a no answer or a bad answer, just a response, and they have been doing that, doing a great job of that, and even getting some things accomplished. I see you have a couple of neighborhoods that you visited. I've been getting a great response from neighborhoods saying thank you for coming out and letting people know, without the media muddying the waters, exactly what's going on and get the truth directly to the people. So just a great job on a lot of things that's from the ground level that I get as a council member that I'm seeing an improvement on. So thank you.
Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate your partnership.
I
Thank
just
you.
want to note for the record that Councilmember King is here, present.
Rhonda, next.
We have our first committee report, Finance and Administration, Director Sauce.
Thank you, and I'm pile on and say we have an awful lot of good things going on. I think about what it was like in 2018 when I started here. My goodness, it's a different world. So staff ought to give themselves a big hand. Finance and Administration Committee met on yesterday, in the Executive Boardroom. We convened at 9 o'clock. Present were myself, Directors Guzman, Payshow. Absent were Directors Howard and Markowitz. Cash flow overview was given. I don't know if you have the minutes in front of you, but our financial position is good. Our water and sewer levels are 181 and 265 days cash on hand, which exceeds the minimum thresholds dramatically. Our collections, which is something we've been looking at a fair amount lately, are 24.5 million, a little bit better than 24.5 million which is for May, which is the best that we've had so far this year. Those will cycle up and down. Billed revenues were down $2 million, but billed expenses were down, but not billed, but expenses were down $4 million. So obviously that was positive. Our disputed accounts, which is something we hear a lot about, obviously, in the press, less than 3% of total accounts, which seems to me, 3% seems like a small number. I know you're trying to get it down to zero, and Renee's working on that. We had 2 action items that we recommended approval on. We had 1 renewal, 5 change orders, 3 amendments, 1 contract acceptance, and we also had the usual information items which are in your packet. There was no public comment, so at that point in time, we adjourned at approximately 9:41, and that's my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Director Scholas, seconded by Director Payshow. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, the report has been officially adopted. Ms. Yolanda.
Yes, now we have Director Payshow with the Pension Committee report.
Thank you. Pension Committee met on Wednesday, June 14th in the boardroom. We convened at approximately 10:32 a.m. President Director Payshow, Ms. Johnsey, Mr. Davis, Mr. Magboul, and Mr. Heller. There were 2 presentation items from Marquette and Associates Incorporated by Mr. Kwaku Obed. First was the update on the executive summary of the May 2023 market performance and asset allocation transition reports. And the second was an update on the search for diverse managers that will provide the best portfolio for the organization, and also included the process for providing recommendations to the board. There were several informational items accepted by the group. We did not have any public comment. And with all business being conducted at that time, the meeting was adjourned at approximately 11:21 a.m. That's my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Pacho. Any comments? Okay, hearing none, we need a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved up by Director Barnes. We need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Director Sloss. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, we've officially adopted the Pensions Committee report. Thank you again, Director Pacho. Ms. Yolanda.
Yes, we have Resolution 082-2023, preliminary approval for $80 million in sewage system bonds, and that will be presented by Jason Akers with Foley and Judell. Jason?
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Jason Akers with me, Maria Ozan with Ozan and Associates, our co-bond counsel. Had a very good discussion with Finance Committee yesterday. Director Schloss, thank you for leading that, and Gray as well. Gray's all the way at the end. So this is a resolution that I want you to kind of think globally, but really has three parts, because you have three different commitments from DEQ for revolving loan fund loans to Sewerage and Water Board, and the executive director actually referred to, I think, each of these during his report. However, we have aggregated those for purposes of preliminary approval. And the reason is because in addition to your approval today, we have to go to City Council and Board of Liquidation and Sewerage and Water Board for their preliminary approvals. We figured it would be easier to aggregate all of these approvals at once, even though the loans will close separately. So when they start coming back to you, more than likely it will be on three different bases. One of those has to do with consent decree work, one is the sewage treatment plant work, and the other is the smart metering work. We will be closing those loans as the projects are ready to move forward, which I know won't be long, but it has to work within DEQ's timeframes as well. So DEQ, I explain it as trains on parallel tracks. One of them is the engineering side and one of them is the finance side. They leave one station at the same time. They travel at different speeds. Sometimes they go fast, sometimes they go slow. Eventually they end up at the same station, and that's when we're able to close the loans at that point. So our goal from here with your approval is that this will head next to the City Council, with the goal of it being on the July 13th City Council meeting agenda, following a committee hearing in between now and then would be at Board of Liquidation on July 19th. Then we'll make State Bond Commission application for approval in August. I want to draw your attention to Section 5 of this resolution, which actually has a repealer clause. We actually started a process on one of these loans previously. We did not go so far as to get State Bond Commission approval. So we actually are just going to let that previous approval die off through this repealer clause, and we're going to encompass all three projects within this single resolution. That was just for one of the, I believe that was a consent decree project, Ron, if I'm correct, but that was a consent decree project. So it has been incorporated in here. Just want you to know that that's the reason for the repealer. Maria and I are happy to answer any questions that you'd like.
Very good. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion, and I know, Ms. Yolanda, with this, we do need a roll call vote. Is that?
Yes,
That's
Mayor.
correct? Okay. So we want to ask for a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Director Pacho,
Second.
seconded by Director Scholas, and we will do a roll call vote. All in favor? Ms. Yolanda?
Mayor Cantrell?
Yay.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Director Barnes?
Yes.
Director Duplessis? Director Markowitz? Director Guzman?
Yes.
Director Pacho?
Yes.
Director Sloss?
Yes.
Director Howard? Director Scholas?
Yes.
Mayor, we have an unanimous vote.
Okay. All right. So the resolution has been adopted officially by the board unanimously. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Ms. Yolanda.
And now we have our corresponding resolutions that may be taken in global.
Okay.
And we'll need a motion to approve the corresponding resolutions, 11 of them.
Okay. So we have I need a motion to approve of the 11 corresponding resolutions that we will adopt in globo.
So moved.
Been moved by Director Scholas,
Second.
seconded by Director Barnes. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, we have officially adopted all 11 corresponding resolutions. Ms. Yolanda.
We have information items for the board members to review, and now we are ready for executive session.
Okay, we need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Director Sloss,
Second.
seconded by Director Payshow. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, we are officially now going into executive session.
So I don't want to be,
We'll talk.
what? Anyway,
We'll talk afterwards.
it's not an issue, apparently.
No, no. We're good? Okay. We are ready now.
Right, be quiet.
We are ready now. We can do the first motion, Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we need a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Director Barnes, seconded by Director Pacho. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, we are now back into
Regular session.
regular session. Ms. Yolanda.
Okay, and now we'll need a motion to approve the special counsel's recommendation regarding matters presented in executive session.
So moved.
Okay, been moved by Director Sloss,
Second.
seconded by Director Barnes. Okay, and we're gonna take, I know we're gonna do them in global, we can.
We can do them in global.
Okay, and the first is, one is approving,
So the special counsel's recommendation regarding, Janika Lightfoot versus Arthur Woods, case number 2020-7917. And the next one is H. Minor Pipes et al. Versus Sewage and Water Board, CDC, case number 2017-06434. And Sewage and Water Board versus 3M et al., MDL number 2873, master docket 218, MN 2873 RMG.
very good. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, the matters presented by special counsel have been fully adopted by the board. Ms. Yolanda.
Are there any public comments? There are no public comments, Mayor, and so we're not ready for adjournment.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I should have done this earlier during my report, but I want to just take a moment and share with you happy and not so happy news about Tyler Antrop, who has left us. And all of you have worked directly with Tyler, so I want to just acknowledge his departure and his significant contribution to the utility during the short tenure. I call it short because it was like 3+ years. Accomplished quite a bit. He was instrumental in getting us the strategic plan that we've all utilizing effectively now moving forward. And he plugged so many holes and needs in the utility. Anything that I needed done and I didn't have somebody do it, Tyler did it. So we're very sad to see him go, but very excited for his new opportunity as he moves forward. So I just want to publicly acknowledge his contribution and wish him the best. And I know maybe
Yeah, I
Ghassan
just
wants
wanted to
share.
echo what Ghassan said, because also it was a first ever position, right?
Yeah.
The strategy position. So he brought a new function to the Sewage and Water Board, which I think was extremely critical. And so he's moved to Tulane's School of Architecture, and he's teaching in the program that he graduated from, which is the Masters of Sustainable Real Estate Development. So, so he's going to be teaching, and hopefully training some individuals who, you know, might come work here or work other places, and have some of his knowledge. So I just wanted to acknowledge his great work.
Absolutely. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we need a second.
Second.
All right, moved by Director Scholas, seconded by Director Barnes. All in favor?
All right.
Okay, any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Trustees,
Yeah, don't go
10:30. We got 5 minutes. You got a 5-minute break. There are donuts for you.
She say there's donuts.
That's
for us.
called bribe.
You know I'm on a diet, man.